to this beat.
Welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I'm your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. The Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will, so I continue to bring you that gospel Gamecocks every single day. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate the love. Thank you. We got a good one today, y'all. I said we got a good one today, y'all. We talking about all SEC women's basketball awards. And most notably, some omissions. Most notably, omissions and most unexpected selections. That's what we're talking about today. And we're going to break it all down. The goods, the bads, the happy and the sads. And some of it I like, some of it I can't stand, and some of it just got everything wrong. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do today. And the SEC is the home to some of the best, college women's basketball players in the country. You talk about the best conference in the country, and going to send multiple teams into the NCAA tournament. We got the SEC tournament starting up in a couple of days. It starts up on Wednesday. It's going down. We are in March Madness as we speak. And if you have the best conference in the country, then the awards should represent that. You should have the best players on these first and second teams, and the coaches and the newcomers and all these different aspects that awards are given for. And I'm just looking at the first thing. This is from USA Today. There's going to be the AP SEC awards. There are going to be so many various different awards. You got the coaches that vote for it and all these great things that's going to go down today. But I'm talking about specifically the USA Today. They announced their thing this morning. I guess they want to be first and put it out. So first ain't always the best. And in this case, it was not. It was not at all. So Captain Will is a analytics dude, right? And I watch the games with my eyes, and then but sometimes your eyes see things that ain't necessarily there. So then I look at the analytics piece and I put it all together and I develop the algorithm. Yeah, Captain Will's smart. Imagine that. Captain Will's smart. Develop an algorithm and spits out what are the best players. Not necessarily the best offensive players, not necessarily the best defensive players, but the totality of a player. This is not a situation where we talk about two-way players. I can't stand the word. I hate when they started that crap of a two-way player. A two-way player is stupid. It makes no sense. You're supposed to be a quote-unquote two-way player. You are supposed to play offense and you're supposed to play defense. That makes up an actual really good basketball player. If you play just offense and you don't play no defense, you're not an all-around basketball player. And I think that needs to be said because there's a lot of talented offensive players that don't play a lick of defense. Nah, they lick, but we never talk about it. Ever. We never talk about, players that ain't playing no defense. The only thing we talk about is players, they average 25 points. They shot 13 3-pointers. They hit 4 of them. They have a tremendous game. They produced 22 points on offense and gave up 25 points on defense, but they're an amazing player. They're first team All-American, first team All-SEC. We don't talk about those things. So that's why I developed algorithm and use the parts of my brain that has been utilized in quite a while. But that's what happened, right? So we talk about the best overall players. USA Today ain't think about that. They ain't think about that. I don't know what the hell they thinking about. And I'm throwing shade to USA Today, but I should throw shade to the actual writers of the various different, news outlets and whatever who voting for these things and making their stuff known. So I question so much. I question so much because it seems to me more times than not these writers of the media and stuff. Only thing they say, okay, we're looking at a team. Okay, so that team, the leading scorer. Oh yeah, that player got to be on first team, second team. Okay, yeah. That's it right there. Yeah, that player right there. Oh, snap. That player is really, really good, but that player is only averaging 9 points, right? But it don't matter if that player is playing for a team that is on a number 1 seed. It don't matter, right? It don't matter, because that player only averaging 9 to 10 points. So we can't put that in. We can't do that. No, can't do that. It baffles my mind. It really baffles my mind. Continues to baffle my mind since I've been covering the Gamecocks. But we talk about all the teams today. So LSU, buckle up. Tennessee, buckle up. Kentucky, buckle up. Texas, buckle up. Everybody buckle up, because we're talking some stuff today. So let's go through. And when I'm doing this, part of the algorithm is we do per 40 minutes. Per 40 minutes. And the reason I do per 40 minutes, so you have everybody on the same playing field. Everybody on the same playing field. It ain't no situation where you got some players playing 36 minutes and other players playing 22 minutes. Because some players playing 36 minutes on the basketball team because they have to play 36 minutes on the basketball team because that's what their coach wants them to do. So they want them to play crazy minutes because they're not going to utilize their bench. And you got some teams that don't do that, and they utilize their bench and they actually play, players 22, 23 minutes. That's because, and here's the thing. There's a direct correlation to that. You have South Carolina, you have Texas, who was tied, for the regular season championship. Tied for the regular season championship. And both of those teams have so much talent in their basketball team. Both of those teams don't play their players 30 plus minutes per game. Imagine that. Tied for first place. They spread it around, the talent. And the teams, some of the teams that focus on having, so many minutes with those players, their teams don't necessarily do as great. I mean, y'all know that. Y'all know that. USA Today said that on the first team, remember, per 40 minutes. So on the first team, they got Aneesah Morrow. Aneesah Morrow for LSU has been terrific basketball player. And per 40 minutes, she would average 21 points, shoot 49% from the field, 74% from the free throw line, average 17 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers. That's terrific basketball. Her offensive rating is 120.4, and a defensive rating is 77.5. Oh, yeah. That's another thing that Captain Will does. We talk about the offensive rating and we talk about the defensive rating. We minus those and you get the net rating. So Aneesah Morrow's net rating is 42.9. Okay. So Aneesah Morrow is very good offensively, and then she's very good defensively. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a complete basketball player. Okay. When you have a rating of 120 plus, that means you're not committing a whole bunch of turnovers. And this goes back to the national media, not most of the time, not even mentioning turnovers on a particular player. They say the player got 8 assists, but won't mention the player also got 7 turnovers. Turnovers matter. Turnovers lose games. But we don't talk about that. But in today's lesson, and that's what you're getting today, you're getting a lesson from old Cap Will. But she's special. She's special. Madison Booker is nice from Texas, 21 points, in the per 40 and 46% from the field, 85% of the free throw line. It's so good. 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, and 3 turnovers. Offensive rating of 118.4 and a defensive rating of 77.8 with an overall net rating of 40.6. Not mad at neither one of those picks by USA Today. Not mad at all. You got Georgia Amoore. Kentucky transfer from Virginia Tech. Got I just saw her play against South Carolina. The girl is really good. The girl is going to be a top 7 overall pick in the next WNBA draft. Per 40, she would get you 20 minutes. 20 points, shooting 42% from the field, 84% from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, and 4 turnovers. Okay? 4 turnovers, but she gets 8 assists. So that's still assist to turnover ratio of 2-1. Okay. Overall, offensively, our offensive rating is 127.7. That is spectacular. And ironically enough, Georgia Moore plays good defense. Her defensive rating is 85.6, which gives her an overall rating of 42.1, which is higher than a lot of players on these lists. She's special. Not a problem with Georgia whatsoever. The fourth one we got is MiKaylah Williams from Vanderbilt. Freshman sensation. That's what we say, right? In the per 40, she would get you 30 points. 46% for the field, 88% from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 4 turnovers. Remember I said that thing about assist to turnover ratio, and you might have 4 assists, and then you might have 4 turnovers, and it balances out. Her offensive rating is 121.3, which is really good. And remember I said, anything over 120, you doing well. You're doing well. What's up with MiKaylah Williams is her defensive rating is 91.6. Okay. Her defensive rating is the lowest of anybody on these first and second teams. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Her defensive rating is 91.6. But it's never talked about because she's getting, she had a couple of 50-point games. Okay. Overall rating of 29.7. Okay. Fifth on the first team, all SEC is Flau'jae Johnson from LSU. So you got two players according to USA Today from LSU that's on the first team. So just by that metric alone, 2 players on the first team are all SEC. LSU should be the number 1 seed because there's only 5 players on the court, right? Only 5 players on the court. LSU got 2 of them that's in the first team. Right? So they should be like, and they playing, regularly 35 plus minutes. Does that make sense? According to USA Today, it does. Because, Flau'jae getting a bunch of points and Aneesah Morrow getting a bunch of points. And per 40, Flau'jae will get 23 points per game, 47% for the field. Shoots a great percentage at 80% for the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 4 turnovers. There's that turnover thing we discussed. Her overall offensive rating is 114.7. Her overall offensive rating is lower than the rest of the 4 players that is in the first team. Defensive rating 86.7. People think that and say that Flau'jae Johnson's terrific, amazing defender. Who would have thought that Georgia, Amoore from Kentucky, defensive rating is better than Flau'jae? I didn't think that until it slapped me in the face. Flau'jae's overall rating is 28.0. Now we know that Flau'jae is out for the SEC tournament, and this is why. This is the key reason why you play your bench. Kim Mulkey depends so much on Aneesah Morrow, Flau'jae Johnson, MiKaylah Williams. They average over 90 minutes per game. It sounds crazy, but they do. If you add them all together, over 90 minutes per game, close to 100 minutes per game, really. But now you got a key cog in the wheel with Flau'jae not playing in the tournament. So somebody got to get those 35 minutes. Who's going to get them? You have girls, you have women, you have ladies on the LSU basketball team who don't take off their sweats. Now you asking them to get these minutes in the SEC tournament? Come on, man. This is going to hurt LSU. It's going to hurt LSU big time because depending on how they do in this SEC tournament, which I don't think they're going to do great without Flau'jae, depending on how they do in the SEC tournament, they're ranking on March 16th when the selection show happens, and it's going to be lower. Going to be lower. And real talk, it's their own fault. It's their own fault. Second team. Here we go with second team. Again, per 40. For the new ones who's showing up right now, per 40. Per 40 minutes. Second team, they got Raegan Beers, Oklahoma, transfer. Per 40, you talking about 32 minutes shooting 68% from the field, Okay, 60, I think it was 62% for the free throw line. She would get you 16 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 5 turnovers. Have an offensive rating of 121.0, defensive rating of 81.6. Raegan Beers, really good, 39.4 overall net rating, sensational. That is a really good basketball player. Wish she would have came to South Carolina, but she went to Oklahoma. It is what it is. Next on the second team is Talaysia Cooper, former Gamecock, playing with Tennessee. And per 40, you're talking about 28 points, shooting 45% for the field, 67% for the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, 1 block, and 6 turnovers. She averaged more turnovers than she does assists. That is why her offensive rating is 100.1. The lowest offensive rating of all the players on the first and second team. Defensive rating of 80.3. Terrific defensive rating. But overall, net rating of 19.4. Does a net rating of 19.4 and an offensive rating of 100.1 and per 40 with average 6 turnovers. Those numbers equate to a second team all SEC? Let's find out. Third on the team was MiLaysia Fulwiley from South Carolina. Per 40 minutes, you're talking about 25 points, 42% for the field, 77% for the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 4 turnovers. MiLaysia has an overall offensive rating of 103.5, has a defensive rating of 78.5, overall net rating of 25. Okay. MiLaysia Fulwiley has been playing really good basketball the second half of the season, but does a 103.5 offensive rating and overall 25 in net rating qualify to be second team all SEC. Now she's second on the team in points per game for the South Carolina women's basketball team, the three-time national champions. But is it more? Are there more qualified young ladies who should be on the first and second team? Then fourth, you got Joyce Ellis. Joyce Ellis, also for South Carolina, per 40, 25 points, 56% from the field, 76% from the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 3 turnovers. Joyce is right on there on the cusp of being a great player, I believe. Her offensive rating 119.2. That is terrific. Her defensive rating is 81.5. That is terrific as well. She has a net rating of 37.7. Joyce Ellis has been playing spectacular basketball for the South Carolina women's basketball team. And she's our leading scorer. And she's definitely one of the better players in the SEC. MiKaylah Williams. MiKaylah Williams from LSU. Per 40, 22 points, 47% from the field, 87% from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block shot, 3 turnovers. Overall net rating of 29.8. I really like MiKaylah Williams. I don't think MiKaylah Williams is talked about enough. I think she's definitely one of the better players in the SEC. And her 29.8 rating is higher than Fulwiley, is higher than Talaysia Cooper. Is right there with Michaela Blake's. But here's the crutch of it, right? LSU got 3 players, 3 of them, that made first team or second team. Texas got 1. Texas, the according to AP poll, the number 1 overall team in the country. Going to be a number 1 seed. Number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Number 1 seed. Got 1 player voted as first team or second team. South Carolina, co-champion regular season, for the SEC, going to be a number 1 seed in the upcoming tournament for the SEC and for the Big Dance. had 2 players on the all SEC second team. What's surprising to me, you know what? I'm gonna hold that thought because I'll talk about it in a few minutes. But do you see something? Is something wrong with that statement of Texas been a number 1 overall seed? You only got 1 player, but we're rewarding a team like LSU because they play their players more minutes. Got 3 players. So are we looking at minutes played when we're talking about these awards? Are we actually looking at the best players on the best teams? I'm not sure what's the criteria. Because if you're saying the best players on the best teams, then Texas should get several spots. South Carolina should get several spots because you put any player. And I love that. If you switch players, you put a player like MiLaysia Fulwiley, who we just said, or you put a player like Joyce Edwards, who's on the second team, on a team that's you're going to get 35 minutes per game. What were her numbers? What would their numbers look like? That's why I do the per 40. And what would those numbers look like if certain players came to South Carolina and went to Texas, the best 2 teams in the conference by far, when they're only getting 22, 23, 24 minutes per game? It's something to think about. Coach of the year, USA Today said Vic Schaefer. I don't have a problem with it. They finished, tied for the regular season championship in the conference. I'm not that is great. I absolute. That's how it should be. Vic Schaefer, got it. But last time I checked, Vic Schaefer tied with Don Staley. And what pissed me off about the situation with USA Today, it said, Vic Schaefer was the coach of the year, but Kenny Brooks got some votes, received some votes. So I don't know if they're just saying in the way they was doing it. Okay, so Vic Schaefer got the votes, and then Kenny Brooks got the rest of the votes, and nobody else in that panel of media voted for Don Staley. Like really? Because to me, if you're saying the number 1 teams in the conference are Texas and South Carolina, then you have one coach getting coach of the year and the other one not even receiving votes. That makes no sense to me. Kentucky's a good basketball team. They're a good basketball team. Does Kenny Brooks deserve to get votes ahead of Don Staley? Come on, bro. Newcomer of the year. And it's a word that I don't even understand. Newcomer of the year. I'm tripping because, how can I say this? Georgia Amoore, terrific basketball player, got, I guess, second place in terms of newcomer of the year. And I don't understand why. I understand she transferred in. I got it. Okay. She transferred in. But Georgia Amoore is in her 5th year. 5th year, maybe 6th year. I'm not sure anymore. Why don't you just say rookie of the year, freshman of the year? Just make it clear. So if how about this right here? If Juju Watkins was a transfer over to the SEC, she gonna win Newcomer of the Year award, right? That's dumb as hell. Dumb as hell. Just say it's a freshman of the year award and give it and leave it like that. Leave it like that. It makes 0 sense. MiKayla Blake's terrific scorer, average to below average defender. Does she warrant Newcomer of the Year? In my humble opinion, no, she doesn't. It should be Joyce Edwards. And I'll talk about that later. And it's not because I'm a South Carolina media folk. It's just because the numbers speak for itself, offensively and defensively. Defensive player of the year. Defensive player of the year. They got Aneesah Morrow being a defensive player of the year. Aneesah Morrow has a defensive rating of 4th in the country. That is terrific. But it's not 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. She's 3rd in the SEC in steals. It's not 1st or 2nd. So how do we justify Aneesah Morrow being the defensive player of the year. I don't understand. We got other players that are ranked ahead of her in defensive rating and in steals. And we're not even going to talk about block shots. We know there was no discussion of block shots, and this is going to got Talaysia Cooper, second. And Talaysia Cooper has a defensive rating of 10th. 10th, telling me that 9 of the players in the SEC has a higher defensive rating or a lower defensive rating than Talaysia Cooper. But they got her second. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? Yeah. She leads the SEC in steals, so we got to do that, right? Really? How about this right here? Taylor Jones from Texas. Taylor Jones from Texas has is first in defensive rating. She's also third in blocks in the SEC. How about Clara Strack, averaging 17 points, 10 rebounds. We just saw her in Kentucky, leading the league in block shots. How about this young lady, this freshman phenom, Sierra Theanu from Ole Miss? How about talk about her when we talk about defense? Second in defensive rating. Terrific. And we know the Ole Miss plays some hellified defense. She's also fourth in the SEC in steals. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me. There's more than just steals per basketball game that warrants you being a defensive player of the year. There's way more than that. Because a lot of times you get these steals of basketball game. If you don't get the steal, your player blows by you and scores. This is why, Talaysia Cooper is also 10th in defensive rating and not type 5 or top 3 because of those reasons. Who got snubbed? Who got snubbed? I love this part right here. Who got snubbed? We talk about teams and players who should be on this team, but then didn't see no parts of it. No parts of it. I said a little bit about Taylor Jones. Taylor Jones has been spectacular for Texas. She only played about 23 minutes a game. That's it. We can't put her on there. But we do the per 40. You talking about Taylor Jones, we're going to get you 23 points. Going to get you 60% from the field, 75% from free throw line, 13 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 block shots, 2 turnovers, has an overall offensive rating of 130.2, while also having a defensive rating of 73.5. That's overall net of 56.1. That is straight up stupid. That is, you cannot have a player on the number 1 team in the country like Taylor Jones not getting any recognition. None. That is wrong. That is wrong. And because she don't play 30, 35 minutes per basketball game, she gets snubbed. That makes no sense. I know how good she is. She gave us work. But no recognition on first or second team. No recognition of having one of the lowest defensive ratings in the country, 73.5, or one of the highest offensive rating, 130.2. None at all. And on the number 1 team. Then we talk about, how about Tina Paopao? How's Tina Paopao up for national postseason awards? National. Naismith and all these different postseason awards. But don't make first or second team in the SEC. That got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. It makes no sense whatsoever. None. Tina Paopao getting you per 40, getting you 16 points, 46% from the field, 80% from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, only 2 turnovers. And we're talking about per 40. Per 40, and still would only be 2 turnovers per basketball game. Having an overall offensive rating of 121.9 and 85.8, defensive rating, 36.1 net rating for Tahina Lights Out Paopao. And if we talk about defensive rating, by itself, Tina Paopao, because Tina Paopao don't play defense. Her defense is just average. Well, how about this right here? Her defensive rating is lower than Flau'jae Johnson. Lower, who we hold up here in terms of defense. Her defensive rating is right on par with Georgia Amoore, who has a defensive rating of 85.6. I mean, come on. And tied for the SEC championship. Tina Pow. Nowhere to be seen. Got it. And I think the biggest snub, I ain't gonna say the biggest snub. I think Taylor Jones is the biggest snub. But I think one of the biggest snubs is Chloe Kitts from South Carolina. Per 40. Now, let me begin with this. Chloe averages 22 minutes per game. Almost a double-double. Okay? 22 minutes per game. Chloe Kitts per 40 would be since crazy numbers. 25 points, shooting 50% from the field, 84% from the free throw line, 21 rebounds. Chloe Kitts rebounding percentage is on par, is top 3 in the SEC. Top 3 rebounding percentage. If she played the minutes as these other young ladies are playing, you're talking about 21 rebounds from Chloe. 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 4 turnovers. Have an offensive rating of 119.9 with a defensive rating of 77.9. Come on. Overall net rating of 42. Are we serious right now? Are we serious? This is basketball. Offense and defense. I believe that efficiency matters when we are discussing these awards. I believe that. I believe it. I talked a little bit about from Ole Miss, Sarah Thinu from who's been playing great basketball. And shout out to Coach Yo as well. Per 40, 17 points. 49% from the field, 66% from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, only 2 turnovers. Overall offensive rating is 118.9. Defensive rating is 77.1. Net rating of 40.9. Tell me why this young lady ain't getting no love. Somebody on the media who voted for this mess, tell me why she ain't getting no love with those numbers. Let a brother know, because I'm confused. I am confused. I'm confused. And the last one I'm talking about, who I think was snubbed or didn't get the love that she deserved, also plays for Vanderbilt. And this right here might hurt some feelings, but I'm going to let you know right now. Camille Pierre from Vanderbilt is their best player. She's their best player. As a total basketball player, she's their best player. It is not MiKayla Blake's. She's scoring the points. She's scoring a ton of points. She is. She ain't playing no defense. Defense? Defense rate of 91.3? Come on now. Come on. Camille Pierre, you talking about 27 points, 51% for the field. We doing per 40. 51% for the field, 67% for the free throw line. We'll get you 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, only 2 turnovers. Offensive rating of 117.7, defensive rating 82.4. Defensive rating of 82.4 is substantially lower than what MiKayla Blake's is getting at 91.3. Overall net rating of 35.3. Somebody need to give this young lady some love. Somebody does. Because there's a reason why Vanderbilt is playing really good basketball and shocked some teams this year. There's a reason. It is not just because of MiKayla Blake's. It is also because of Camille Pierre. That is real talk. That's real talk. Final one I'm going to discuss. Jewel Spear is one of the better guards in the country. Okay, and her per 40, you talking about 21 points? 43% for the field, 88% for the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. Overall, offensive rating of 131.4 and a defensive rating of 94.6. Jewel Spear has the highest offensive rating in the SEC. While also having a defensive rating of 94.6. Now, the defensive rating ain't good. It ain't good. But when you equate that offensive rating of 131.6, where she doesn't make mistakes, and to go along with a 94.6 defensive rating, and net rating of 36.8. We hear a lot about Talaysia Cooper, but Jewel Spear is their best player. Watch Tennessee. Watch the games. And we know they play at a fast pace and all that stuff, and they up and down, blah, 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 blah. But Jewel Spear is their best player. It is not about who scores the most points or who takes the most shots. That is not the be all of saying a player is first team or second team. It's not. Can that player actually go on the other end and defend, or does that player get subbed out on defense? We saw that with Notre Dame. You saw that with Notre Dame. With Notre Dame, when they had to play defense, they took out Olivia Miles. Olivia Miles is going to be probably top 3 draft pick in the WNBA. And if you can sub out on defense, you are a one-way player. And if you get subbed out on defense in college, what the hell going to happen in the WNBA when they give you work? When they give you work, it just baffles my mind. It baffles my mind. Real talk. And in some of these cases about how, certain teams who are greater than the previous teams. And I know I'm in the comments, Cap, because the better teams don't play their players as much, and they shouldn't get the individual awards. I don't care about that. You get rewarded. Why? So why are we're gonna reward bad behavior? We're gonna reward bad behaviors because the teams ain't as good, and the teams that are good aren't getting the individual awards. Huh? What the hell? Well, that don't make sense. That don't make sense. That's ridiculous. I'm getting this individual award, but my team ain't as good as the team actually holding the trophy. What? That math ain't mathing. My SEC picks, all SEC picks is different. It's different. First team, and there's another thing. SEC picks and the USA Today, AP, whatever, and all these other services are going to put out their stuff. It's like positionless, right? I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like positionless stuff. So for mine, we talk about three guards or 3 wings or whoever, and 2 post players. So first thing, so some people gonna be left out, but that's how I do it. First team, Georgia Amoore from Kentucky, easy. Second team, then we got Madison Booker from Texas, easy. Aneesah Morrow, LSU, easy. Now here's 2 picks that ain't on the first team or the second team or the USA Today, but they deserve love on this first team for Captain Will. And that is number 1, and that is Taylor Jones from Texas. Yeah, that's 2 players on Texas team that got first team all SEC by Captain Will. That's the facts. That's the facts. And then the last one is Sierra Thenu from Ole Miss. That girl can play some basketball. And that is how I see it. So my first team, I don't have a Flau'jae. I don't have a MiKaylah Williams. I don't. Because I believe that Taylor Jones and I believe that Sierra from Ole Miss has played better. They ain't getting the notoriety, but they've been balling, and they play better offensively and defensively. Mm-hmm. Second team we have to talk about. Second team all over the place. Second team, because it's basically a replacement for the whole second team they had that they said. Second team, Raegan Beers. She's been playing well for Oklahoma. She is a baller. She was a baller before she got here, and she's still a baller. Okay? Then we're going to talk about Tina Pow for South Carolina. Come on now. Come on. Tina Pow doing her thing. And the next one is Chloe Kitts from South Carolina. Yes. Like, help me out. Like, Cap. Okay, so you replace Joyce and you replace MiLaysia Fulwiley and put in Tina Pow and you put in Chloe Kitts. If you've been following Captain Will, like I know you've been following Captain Will, I've been saying that most of the year that Chloe has been playing the best basketball on this team. on this basketball team. And that is just the way it is. That is a fact. And then in terms of Tina Pow, she's been, up and down and, but now she's on the up. And her overall numbers for the season warrants her being second team all SEC on this team. Ain't no shade against Joyce, because Joyce is right there. She's right there on getting that second team all SEC. And MiLaysia Fulwiley is not a complete player just yet because the offensive rating is 103.8. Okay? So, but she's on the up and coming too. Her offense is getting better and better in terms of efficiency. But what it also makes a statement of is more than just scoring the basketball. Chloe has been our best defender in the post all year long. She's been our best rebounder all year long. And that is with Ashlyn Watkins or without Ashlyn Watkins. And I believe both of those players deserve to be on second team all SEC. We're going to finish up with, Cap, you ain't got MiKayla Blakes on the second team. Hell no, I don't. I got Camille Pierre, who is also on Vanderbilt, on my second team because I believe she's a better player than MiKayla Blakes. I believe the defense matters, and I believe that Camille Pierre is a much better defender while also having a more all-around game. Here's the thing, all-around basketball than MiKayla Blakes at right now in MiKayla Blakes' freshman year. I believe MiKayla Blakes is going to be a sensational basketball player and probably going to be, all SEC the rest of her career at Vanderbilt. But I don't think so right now. And just because you score a bunch of points, that still don't put fear or Kool-Aid in my heart. No, it don't. It don't. And the last one is Jewel Spear. Jewel Spear, second team all SEC from Tennessee. Their best all-around player. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not Talaysia Cooper. It is not. Complete basketball. That's what I look for. It may not be what you look for. It may not be what the USA Today look for. I know for good and damn well it's not what USA Today look out for because they're wrong. They're wrong. Their list sucks. It don't make sense. It is a terrible list. My list is much better than their list. Much better. I don't get it. But those are my first and second teams. Coach of the year, I already talked about that. Should be co-coaches of the year with Vic Schaefer and Don Staley, the Don Staley. Player of the year, Aneesah Morrow. It can't be nobody else. Aneesah Morrow is a baller, and she has been the best player in the SEC and one of the best players in the country this year. No doubt about it. Newcomer of the year, Joyce Edwards, South Carolina. You still didn't choose MiKayla Blakes? No, because Joyce Edwards is a better all-around player, much better defensively. She's a bucket getter when she gets the ball. I mean, she's more efficient. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Joyce Edwards. There's a reason why she was number one on some recruiting boards in the country. She is the truth. Why she got multiple Team USA gold medals. Facts. And finally, for Defensive Player of the Year, you're talking about Taylor Jones. Taylor Jones. I have no idea why the hell she's not on the list, either first or second. Taylor Jones wasn't even on the list. She's first in defensive rating. She's third in blocks. She should be the Defensive Player of the Year. In second place, Sierra Thenu. I like her from Ole Miss. She is second in defensive rating and fourth in steals. That makes sense to me. Aneesah Morrow is a really good defender. She is. But by my metrics, Captain Will's metrics, she's not number one or number two. And Talaysia Cooper, with her 10th in defensive rating, even though she leads the SEC in steals, does not make the cut either. Those are just the facts. And when you watch me and you listen to me, I try to give you more detail and numbers and all that crazy stuff because those numbers matter when we try to decide who are the best players and not just the numbers that stick out. Media members who voted for this crap from USA Today, y'all wrong. It made no sense and you shouldn't vote no more. You shouldn't vote no more. That is just some crazy behavior. SEC tournament starting up and I want to see the best players play. And not just the best scorers because I like rebounding. I like block shots. I like defense. And the ones who actually win does all those things. This concludes another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I'm your man. Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will, so I continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. Let's go, let's go, let's go.